Oh, James, man, I'm glad you held your breath. Because that's what the movie told me to do.
Well, not only that, everybody knows. If it's not the most popular...
Urban legend?
Urban legend, yes.
Yes, apparently there's an urban legend that if you drive past a cemetery, you must hold your breath. Because if you don't hold your breath, the evil spirits of the undead dead will get into you through your lungs.
Yep.
And possess you. And that is the plot of 2012's Hold Your Breath by The Asylum. James, shall I read the summary?
Please do.
All right, this came out in 2012. Remember that?
It was. It just felt like a year ago or year and a half.
That's about right. That's actually, no, it's only about 8 months ago.
8 months ago. It felt like so long ago.
Time's difficult. A group of friends on a weekend camping trip find themselves being picked off one by one when one member of the group refuses to abide by the urban myth that you breathe in evil spirits when passing cemeteries.
There you have it.
Pretty much a good summary right there.
I mean, they've made several movies about it. Or is it just this one?
You know, James, I asked a whole bunch of people with a whole bunch of different backgrounds, and I only found 2 people that actually heard of that urban legend.
Oh, so this is a...
I guess, well, one person is my wife who's from South Florida. She said she'd heard that.
Okay.
And then the other person is one of her best friends who is from north central Tennessee area, I think, somewhere in Tennessee. And she said she'd heard
in the United States somewhere.
Right, somewhere somebody's heard of this.
Okay.
So it's out there somewhere. The Asylum picked up on this and made this spectacular horror movie. It's our first just genuine horror movie. It's not fantasy, it's not sci-fi, action adventure. It's just a lot like Jason Goes to Hell, frankly.
Yeah, I was excited. I was like, woo, horror movie.
It got some horror
and then I went, ooh, again.
Yeah.
That's how excited I was. I tell you, when I first seen the screen cover, I was like, this is going to be good.
It had its moments.
It wasn't too bad. I'd say old school style.
It reminded me a lot of the late 80s, early 90s slashery films.
You had a lot of... They didn't go with a lot of the CG stuff in this one. They kept it, the cosmetic stuff. And
I thought the gore was real special effect. I mean, it was real, you know...
You could touch it.
It wasn't computer. It was tangible, I guess is the word I'm looking for. If you're familiar with Jason Goes to Hell or the movie Shocker, which is a prison movie about a guy who can jump from place to place, people to people, it was very similar, I found, to those 2 movies.
Yeah.
Having said that, let me just briefly say we got a group of these beautiful teenagers. You have the smart guy. We know he's smart. Why? How do we know that?
Because he's got the glasses on.
Got the glasses. You have the stoner dude,
and
he's leads to the downfall.
You know, he's heavy set.
Yeah. You've got our 2 blonde, beautiful people, 1 male, 1 female. Then you've got 2 brunettes. I kept getting confused back and forth. Did you know that too?
Yeah, I did a little bit. And then of course, you got the muscle jock type guy.
Yeah. Well, that's true. I forgot about him.
Yeah.
He was memorable, wasn't he?
Yeah, he is.
He's kind of douchey. Can I say that?
Sure.
Okay. So off to the California wilderness they go camping. And there's a little prelude to this movie that this really bad guy, and I forget his name, I'm going to call him Dietrich von Bad Guy, is put to death in a sanitarium, which apparently you could do that.
Yes.
A sanitarium, not a prison. Anyway, they electrocute him very badly, but he dies, and he is buried in this rural cemetery that our people go by. Our female lead said, everybody hold your breath, don't breathe in. Oh, but stoner dude.
Yeah, it's in the trailer. He has to take a hit of his weed pipe.
Yep.
And to their downfall.
That's it. And
weed kills.
They get picked off. And he gets possessed, and then he can jump from body to body. When that group has figured out who the bad guy is, he can jump as somebody else, and then jump again and again, which makes for an interesting change of dynamic.
Yeah, it does. You have to be at an angry state, and then he can jump into you. You better watch it.
Oh, sorry.
He's going to get you. I enjoyed the throwback part of it. What was up with the eyeball gouging?
That was the thing.
I mean, all the way through the movie, I was like, oh, maybe something new will happen. Oh, no, we're going to...
And it wasn't the same. For a couple kills in a row, I thought, is there something about the right eye?
Right.
But they also took the left eye. So there's not really which eye, but when someone was killed or badly maimed, it was always to the eyes.
Correct.
I enjoyed the throwbacks there. You had the most random sex scene I've seen in some time. There's a little bit of lead up to it. You've got our horny couple, if you will, in the group. And our group, when they're out in the woods, they find the sanitarium where all this badness happened at the beginning of the film. And so, of course, our horny couple have to go in to explore.
What causes that is, of course, the guy doesn't hold his breath. The spirit goes into him, and he throws his weed pipe into the driver, which is the blonde guy you're talking about.
Right.
Lap, and he's got to stop.
That's true.
And they just happen to be by that asylum. Hey, what's that?
Asylum. In an asylum movie. I think that's a first.
It is, and they actually say asylum in the movie.
That's cool.
I was like, hey, that's kind of good. Cool.
So you're in this abandoned asylum, and that spells romance for our horny couple.
Yeah, and I guess, is it the morgue area?
It looked like it's something medical.
Yeah, you've got the cold storage for bodies, and then you've got that table laid out.
Which is perfect for love.
Evidently.
So, yeah, eventually we get on here, and people are dying and getting possessed, and then we run into a former prison guard or sanitarium guard who was there when the bad guy was killed. Now, my math is a little rusty, James, but didn't the opening, the prelude, if you will, take place in the 50s?
Yeah, but the way they're dressed, it would say 50s.
Yeah,
the girls was dressed, the camera guy in the back.
Choo, choo, choo. I wish my flash would make that sound. But... So that guard was, let's say the guard's 20 years old in the 50s, which would make him born in the 30s.
Right.
And this film, the rest of the film takes place in modern day. So wouldn't that dude be about 80? Should be about 80? He looked
pretty good for his
age. He looked about 50 years old to me. Still kicking ass.
I love all the random, remarks he has that they've given him. They're just generic.
Yeah, he was, I guess he was kind of like the old pro brought in to teach the youngsters how to survive. And he does make the ultimate sacrifice at the end of the movie.
Yes, he does.
He apparently, because towards the end, they're able to resurrect the spirit of the warden of the asylum, who fights our Dietrich von Bad Guy's spirit. And then our hero, crusty old guard, inhales both of them, which in my opinion should have been the end of the movie.
I agree. I mean, that's the only special effects they use is when these spirits are outside of bodies fighting. And it looked pretty decent. It looked a little Casperish style.
Not the Friendly Ghost, though.
But overall, it looked pretty decent. But yeah, I agree with you. It should have ended there, which they didn't end it there.
They had to set it up for a sequel, which I thought was clumsy.
Yeah, it's just kind of thrown together, and you're kind of like,
Yeah, here it is. Knowing the asylum, like I do, because you and I are students of the asylum.
We are.
The film company, that is. If they wanted to make a sequel to it, they would have made it by now.
I would think so.
And they have not made the sequel, nor are there any plans that I know of.
I think it was just, hey, this could be a hit, so let's keep it open.
Yeah.
But really, they could have come out with something ending there, and just the beginning of the second movie kind of bring it into he wasn't going.
That would have been a very good first scene of a second film. I agree. What happens is our survivors drive away, and then all of a sudden, one of them's possessed because the guard didn't quite do what the guard needed to do, and they end it like that, which I thought was kind of cheap. But I have to say, my random act of nudity is not really random. It is that awkward sex scene in the morgue. It goes on.
It does. It is a little long.
Normally that wouldn't bother me. Who doesn't enjoy gratuitous nudity? But when you have the other members of the group, having problems with the electric chair, and they're screaming, "Help us! Help us!" and these two are like, "There's something going on." That's about as reactive as they get.
Now, what do you think? This one actually had 2 scenes.
I like of the two. I like the morgue one the better of the two.
So you have a favorite?
Oh, why not?
Scene, and then you have where
the tree scene.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that scene. I was like, why is this happening? What? What?
You can tell it's thrown in there. I mean,
I guess they decided they didn't have enough nudity the first time, which I find hard to believe.
Yeah.
So one of the 2 brunettes, which I keep getting confused, is captured by one of the other guys who's possessed by the bad demon and chained up to this tree and is killed. Is the end of the scene. But for some reason she has to be topless.
Yeah.
Why was she topless? Who knows? But there you have it.
I think it kind of made the scene a little awkward. I think it would have been better, at least if they would have,
Yeah, I think the definite creep factor came in there.
Yeah, maybe that's what they was going for. Hey, this is really uncomfortable and looks strange.
Well done. James, if I may, I'd like to say my favorite scene of the movie.
I'm ready for it.
It is the kitchen mixer scene. And I've never done this before in any of the other movies we reviewed. I actually stopped the film, rolled it back 5 minutes, and watched the sequence again to make sure I was watching the sequence of events. Our female blonde lead, who's on the poster and all that, she is gets possessed by our bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
And Smart Guy, because he has glasses.
Of course.
Right. They're in the kitchen of the crusty guard, right? And so our blonde lead decides to attack Brainiac. Brainiac falls to the floor. He is not bound in any way. That's why I wanted to check. Were his hands tied?
Right.
They are not. And Blonde Chickie picks up a kitchen mixer, which has a long electrical cord where it's plugged into the wall, and decides to kitchen mix his eyeballs out, or one of them. Why didn't he defend himself, or at least reach up and just grab the cord out of the wall?
That's a good question. Maybe she has superhuman strength of some type.
I guess so. But he was conscious. There's like, just a simple this. Would have stopped her.
You get a finger stuck in it, you're done. She's done. She can't mix anymore.
We're out. In the movie.
Or the powerful mixer she had.
Right.
That can, blend your eyeballs out with cut
yeah, because
I've
used a mixer before. The few times in this world I've actually cooked anything. But while they do the trick with liquid things, would it really go? I don't know. It's willful suspension of disbelief. James, what's your favorite?
Patrick, it's gonna blow your mind. It is the mixer scene.
Is it really?
It is.
Oh.
Yeah, I didn't think about the cord, but I was thinking, okay, this is a regular mixer, and you're just destroying that guy's face.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking it's not going to do all that.
Right.
I mean, you might poke an eye.
Yeah, it might.
But it ain't going to do. I mean, it shows his face, and it's just demolishing his eyes.
And he is obviously in distress while this is happening to him. Again, when people are in distress, they get stronger. Their adrenaline kicks in, survival instinct. He doesn't do anything. His hands are down here. His head is perfectly still because he doesn't do this.
Yeah. I did like how it showed kind of blood splattering.
Yeah.
But it never got on her.
No, she's beautiful.
You don't want blood on her.
You don't want to have beautiful people getting bloody.
Mm-hmm.
Ready to render a verdict?
Almost. One thing,
I want to hold my breath.
I want to see if you notice this. The scene where he's like, "Get out of here." They take off in that Forerunner. Mid-scene, where it's showing them going down the road, they're back in that Yukon or whatever it is.
Oh, the vehicle.
And then it switches back to the Forerunner.
It's like 200 miles per hour all over again.
It is. So I was like, what?
They keep your eyes peeled.
But I'm ready now.
You ready?
I'm ready.
James, I'm going to give this one 2.5 sloths. It's just right middle of the average range from our 0 to 5. And it's I enjoyed the throwback as you're talking about. I enjoyed that. It was filmed pretty decently. I mean, the locations were wherever they filmed that sanitarium sequence, very cool. The acting wasn't bad.
Right.
When people became possessed, I liked how they really got to embrace their evil side. But in the end, there was just I wasn't feeling it, and I thought the ending was a complete cop out.
Yeah.
Which I didn't enjoy. So 2.5.
I'm going to rate it at 3 sloths.
Really?
I'm going to give it a half more sloth than you. I just enjoyed it. It was your horror movie throwback. Actors did pretty decent. I've seen a few things like him stabbing a cop with a weed pipe.
The weed pipe. That was filmed pretty cool.
I was like, I've never seen that happen.
Yeah.
So,
and it was filmed pretty cool. You know,
it's pretty decent.
Yeah.
And the CG they did use wasn't awful. So the bottom of the lady falls off. It looked decently real.
Oh yeah, the topless girl against the tree.
And then the spirit
fight,
which looked pretty decent. So,
well,
3
okay,
for me.
All right. Well, that'll work. That'll do great. Now, James, you want to tell them what we got coming up next? Our next review.
Oh,
is it Christmas already?
It might as well be. It is Birdemic.
One of our 12 fans out there requested we do this review, and he himself will be sitting in with us to be a guest reviewer for Birdemic. James and I have seen the film already. Our friend is going to watch it this coming weekend, and so early next week.
If you get a chance, please watch it.
Oh, you owe it to yourself. You can actually get the Blu-ray on Amazon. Get it for yourself. A little treat.
Till next time.
All right, hold your breath.